Okay. Now let us see the next topic, that is current density shown by capital J. Let us take a conductor. Through this conductor, its area of cross section is A. Current I is passing. I amount of current is passing through this conductor through area of cross section A. Then through unit area of cross section, whatever the current is passing, that is called as J, which we call it as current density. So the J is defined as current per unit area. Current passing through unit area is said to be current density. Okay. Now here, if we write this current in this case, then it will be J into A. This is in magnitude terms of J and A. Suppose in case we are considering another area, this area, for that area vector will be always perpendicular. To that, current density makes an angle theta. With area vector, current density makes an angle theta. Then the current I will be defined as J into A into cos theta, or we can say that I is equals to J bar dot A bar. Here, if you observe in this case, area of this particular cross section, area vector and the current densities are in same direction. Therefore, here it was cos 0 degree, so that it will be 1. And if area of cross section, area vector makes some angle theta, then in general it is defined as J into A into cos theta is the current. Okay. So current density is current per unit area. So what will be the J unit? J unit will be ampere per meter square. SI unit of current density is ampere per meter square. Okay. And here another term, another important term we will be having, that is called drift speed. When we take any conductor, in this conductor there will be free electrons, many number of free electrons will be there, which are responsible for the current. Free electrons are those which will be coming out of the atom at any given temperature, and they are free from the nucleus attraction. Okay, they are called as free electrons. All electrons of the atom will not participate in the electricity. Only free electrons will be participating in the current. Now here, that free electrons of this complete material, all electrons, let us show with a capital N symbol. Total number of electrons are N, capital N. In unit volume, in 1 unit volume of this material, the number of free electrons are shown by small n symbol. Capital N and small n, the difference what we have is capital N is total number of electrons in the complete material, small n is number of electrons per unit volume. Therefore, we can write this small n as capital N by V, capital N by volume. Okay. This small n, number of free electrons, which we call it as electron density also. The electron density depends on nature of this material. For aluminium, for copper, for silver, the number of electrons per unit volume will be different. This number will be changing. Now, when we apply the high potential at one end, low potential at the other end, then these electrons start moving. How they move? The electrons will not move in straight line. Electrons are negative charged particles, therefore they will be moving from low potential to high potential. When they are moving from low potential to high potential, they undergo the collisions. Many collisions they undergo. Finally, they reach the other end. While they are reaching this side, there is a potential difference across this conductor, potential difference that forms electric field. Electric field is applied at the ends of this conductor. Under the influence of electric field, electrons are charged particles. They should move actually with acceleration. Okay, they should move with acceleration. So here the electron starts with acceleration, but due to the collision here, its speed again fall down, decreases. Again it tries to accelerate. Again it undergoes the collision with atoms or other electrons. So due to the repeated collisions during its motion, as it is going on traveling, due to the repeated many number of collisions are going on, due to that its speed will be almost becoming constant. It's slightly accelerating, again decreasing its velocity, again accelerating, again decreasing the velocity. So on an average we can say that it is moving with a average speed. So that average speed which is inside this conductor for these electrons we call it as drift speed. Okay. Now let us find out the equation for this drift speed. What is the equation for drift speed? The length of this conductor, let us think it as L. Electron moves from one end to other end in a time of t seconds suppose. Then speed basic formula is distance travelled by time taken. What is the distance travelled here by this electron? L distance. By the time taken is t seconds. Therefore, t is equals to L by V. Okay. Now, coming to the current definition, current is total charge flowing in total time t seconds. Here, totally how much charge is passing through any cross section is n number of electrons are passing we are considering. So therefore, it is Ne by T can be substituted as L by V. But according to this small n formula, capital N is equals to N into volume. Okay. So that capital N can be written as small n into volume into E, and velocity goes up by L. And here N into volume of this material, let us write as area of cross section into length. So area of cross section into length into E into V by L. L get cancel. Now here V value we want, that V we call it as drift speed. So this drift speed we want here. So therefore drift speed is equals to I by NAE. Whenever the high potential, low potential are applied across a conductor, electric field is set up across this conductor. Under the influence of electric field, these electrons are moving with a overall constant speed. That constant speed what we call it as drift speed. Its equation is given by I by NAE. So what is this small n stands for? Number of free electrons per unit volume. Okay. And here when we observe the drift speed of these electrons, the value of this drift speed of electrons, this will be almost 10 to the power of minus 4 meter per second, means 0.1 millimeter per second. Whenever the current is passing through this conductor, electrons are flowing, that electrons flow is forming the current, but the electrons move very slowly. With what speed? nearly 0.1 millimeter per second. Every 1 second they will move 0.1 mm only. But whenever you apply the potential difference or whenever you switch on the electricity, we get the power supply on the spot or the same instant, but electrons are not reaching the other end on the spot. So, the electric field which will be moving in this conductor is electric field will be set up very instantly with a light speed almost 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So, but practically the electrons are not moving from one end to other end. Which is moving quickly is electric field. With a light speed it will move. That is why whenever you switch on, we get the power supply on the same instant because of electric field, not due to the electrons moving from one end to other end. They are moving under the influence of electric field, but how they are moving? Slowly. Okay? So, that is the drift speed we call it as. And in this equation, if you look at this, I by A we have current per unit area. So, we have defined that current per unit area as current density. Then this drift speed we can write in terms of current density as V equals to J by NE also. V equals to J by NE. So, this V is called as drift speed, sometimes it is represented by VD symbol also. Okay. Now, here whenever these electrons are moving in random direction or just like the Brownian motion, the electrons will move in random direction, one electron direction I have shown, remaining electrons also in the same way. The electrons move in random direction as in Brownian motion. Now, for these electrons, we will be having one term that is what we call as is relaxation time. This is shown by a symbol tau. What is relaxation time? Is whenever this electron is moving without the collision, whatever the time it is taking to move is what we call relaxation time, or time interval between collision to collision, one collision to very next collision, whatever the gap is there, time interval is there, that is what we call relaxation time. Okay. So, here the collision takes place, next collision takes place here, next collision takes place here. So, this gap you can call it as tau 1, next time interval tau 2, next time interval tau 3, so on. On an average of all these tau values is relaxation time. Okay. How to get this? Let us observe with this equation. As electrons are moving under the field effect, okay, they are supposed to be accelerated. Therefore, let us use this equation, that is V equals to U plus AT. Okay. So, here V is equals to U is 0, initial speed. Acceleration under the field effect is EQ by M. This time taken is only what we call it as relaxation time, and V is equals to EQ by M into tau we have, where this V is the average constant speed of these electrons, that is the drift speed. Okay. So, drift speed, just now we got an equation for it, that is I by NAE. Therefore, drift speed plus what you can write, I by NAE is equals to E into Q. Which charge is moving here? Electron. So, therefore, charge is electron charge. And here we can observe that the tau represents here relaxation time. Okay. The same equation you can express in different ways. Suppose from one end to other end potential difference applied is V, then I by NAE is equals to electric field in terms of potential difference is V by L, because potential difference is between these 2 points with a gap of L distance. Therefore, E can be written as potential difference by length into E by M into tau. So, here we are going to learn in the coming topic, that is Ohm's law. So, V can be written as I into R also. So, that is I by NAE is equals to I into R into E by LM into tau. So, here both sides I we can cut, tau we can write in terms of R. So, that is what we call it as relaxation time. Okay. Now, here we have seen these 3 important terms: current density, drift speed and relaxation time. Okay. Now, let us observe some situations in this, some cases. Now, let us see a conductor of variable cross section. So, one side area is minimum, other side area is maximum. So, area of cross section is varying. Through this type of conductor, if current passes, then what will be remaining constant, what will be changing, which factors remain same, which factors will be changing, that let us observe. Here in this case, whenever you observe at this end, whatever the charge enters, same charge will be leaving from this end. Charge remains same, because the charge entering at the one end will be coming out from the other end, because there is no creation of a charge or there is no loss of charge in between. Therefore, the charge remains same. So, Q remains same, and the current, the rate of flow of current at this end or other end, if you count, the rate of flow of charge will be same. Therefore, current also remains same at the 2 ends. Okay. But drift speed, if you calculate, drift speed is given by I by NAE. Here I remains same throughout the conductor, E is a charge constant for electron, N for a given material the number density of electrons remains constant, but area of cross section is changing from one end to other end. Lesser the area, more will be the drift speed, more the area, less will be the drift speed. Therefore, this V drift speed changes or varies, and if drift speed changes, current density, which is I by A, I remains constant, A is changing, therefore, current density changes. And even electric field intensity capital E also varies. So, for a non-uniform conductor of different area of cross section, I and Q remain same, drift speed and J value will be changing. Okay. Now, coming to another term here, we call it as mobility, shown by symbol mu. If a conductor is taken, for this conductor, when electric field is applied or the potential difference is applied across ends, the electric field applied is E. Due to that, one side high potential is applied, other side low potential is applied. Electrons are moving from one end to other end in the random motion with drift speed. With what speed they are moving? Drift speed. Then mobility is defined as the drift speed per unit electric field. The drift speed of electron per unit electric field applied across this conductor is the mobility for these electrons. Now here the unit for this mobility, if you observe, this is a drift speed meter per second, electric field is volt per meter we can say, therefore it is meter square per second per volt is the unit for the mobility. And here the non-uniform conductor, in case of non-uniform conductor, if this mobility is observed, the drift speed as it is different, so then the mobility is possible to be changing from one end to other end. Okay. So the term what we call it as mobility. Okay. Now here we are going to observe another important thing regarding the current, that is current. We say that in any conductor, if one side high potential is applied, other side low potential is applied using any source which we are going to see in the coming topic, that is a cell, and here the direction of current direction is given through this conductor from high potential to low potential. Current will be passing from high potential to low potential. This direction is given as a conventional direction from high potential to low potential, because before the invention of electron, it is assumed to be a positive charge might be flowing from high potential to low potential. Scientists observed, or they assumed that there is some positive charge passing from high potential to low potential. In case of solid conductors, afterwards it was observed that there is no positive charge passing from high potential to low potential, but electrons are passing from low potential to high potential. So there is nothing passing from high potential to low potential, rather than negative charges electrons are passing in opposite direction. But the direction of current is given for positive charges flow for many years as it is used, so that is kept as a convention here. So therefore still we use that conventional direction of current from positive to negative in the outside of the circuit, outside of the cell, that is high potential to low potential. But in the solid conductors which are passing, electrons are passing opposite to the current. Coming to the current, as say for example it is some 5 ampere current is passing, it has magnitude and direction from high potential to low potential we are saying. So direction is there, magnitude is there, but still it is not a vector. Let us say, let us take one example here. Suppose one conductor is there, one wire is there, through this current passing is say for example some 3 ampere current. In another conductor, current is passing say for example some 6 ampere current. These two are attached to another conductor, then in this definitely the 9 ampere current will be passing. And here the angle between these two conductors, say for example some 30 degree. When the two conductors are carrying the currents at an angle of 30 degree, gives rise to 9 ampere current. And if these same conductors are kept at 90 degree angle, suppose 3 ampere, 6 ampere currents conductors are kept at 90 degree angle, then after this again the 9 ampere current is only passing. If current could have been a vector, by changing the angle between the two vectors, the result has to change. According to the law of vectors addition, whenever angle between the two vector quantities are changed, the result has to change. But even though current is having some magnitude and direction, but when the angle is changed between the currents, the result is not changing. If it is a vector, result has to change. The result is not changing means current is not a vector, current is treated as scalar. Okay. So, that is another point regarding the current we can say. Now, let us come to the important thing that is called as Ohm's law. Here in this conductor, if you take and across this conductor we apply the potential difference using a cell, high potential at one end, low potential at other end. Due to that, current through this is I amount, and we are observing between these two ends, A to B we are observing. If we are observing between these two ends, then potential difference between these two ends is suppose V. What the Ohm's law say? Here it says that the current passing through this conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across its ends, but at a constant temperature. As long as the temperature is constant for a given material, current between any 2 points is directly proportional to the potential difference between the 2 points. So, that is I is directly proportional to V. Okay. Now, proportionality, if you remove constant, we get that constant is 1 by R we call it as. Then the equation you can write it as V equals to IR. Here the point we have to observe that current changes according to the potential difference changing, but potential difference will not change according to the current. So, I proportional to V, not V proportional to I. Okay. So, as you go on changing the potential difference, then current changes. So, this equation what we call it as is this relation what we call Ohm's law. This Ohm's law is not a general law, just like the other laws we have Newton's law or Coulomb's law. It is an empirical law. What is this empirical law? Means it is observed from many experiments, many observations. It is generalized. It is not a universal law. It is not applicable for all. So, for certain conditions it is applied and it is prepared by the observations from experiments. But here, why this temperature is constant? Okay? Because as long as the temperature is constant, the material will not change. Okay? So, some more points regarding this Ohm law we will be continuing in the coming session. Okay? That let us see the continuation of this Ohm's law related things in the coming session. So, this is what we call up to here we have seen today, that is Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law and what is its equation, under what condition it is applied, and the proportionality constant is important. This we are going to discuss in the coming class. That is, a proportionality constant is 1 by R. Therefore, V can be written as I into R. Okay? So, that is